for coming down. Guys in the room that don't know Mark Williams, Carlton and Footscray played for a number of years and then down at Sandringham, and we eventually got him down here in 1993 for the Doggies, which was a real turning point in the club. That St Paul's won the flag in 92 and they merged two leagues, which turned into a bloody magnificent Super League in that period in the 90s. But we'll bring you back to where you started. Out of Faulkner?
Yeah. At Faulkner, yes.
Yeah.
Poor man's Broadmeadows.
Yeah. Frankston without a beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And your old man, did he ever run at Carlton? So yeah, you've got a few genes in the group.
So he played at the Blues for 4 years, and he got the arse man. He squashed his toe with a big block of metal, so he had to let them know that he couldn't play anymore, so they gave him the arse. Couldn't play for a couple of years, and then he went and played up the bush.
Yeah, Carlton are really good at that, so that would have been a lot then. And then, got your chance at Carlton in the mid-80s?
Early 80s, very early 80s. So I played 19s, played 3 games in 81, I think, and played reserves in 19s and reserves in 82, then I made the list in 83.
Yeah. And what a time playing at Carlton. You would have had some absolutely magnificent characters back then.
Well, most of the blokes I played with were my heroes. Because I was a Carlton supporter, so I used to go to footy every week. And I used to watch these blokes. I had Kenny Sheldon on my duffel coat.
Yeah.
And then the year after I was sort of playing with them. So it was pretty exciting. They were fantastic fellas. And yeah, it was a really exciting time because they were very successful and like a real powerhouse in the league. So, and yeah, to be part of the club was amazing. To play footy, with them was a dream of mine, and it was fantastic I was able to do that.
And from 79 through to 82, they really could have won. They could have won 4 flags, couldn't they?
Yeah, they should have.
Yeah.
I think they over celebrated the middle year. So 80 they were the best team and got smashed, and then 81, 82 back to back, and 79 was probably their best flag for a number of years prior to that. So they were very, very strong, and they were able to buy. Part of their strength was they were able to buy players from like in-state. So one of the years I was there, they got Kernahan, Motley, Bradley, Dorotich, kid named Simpson, Smith, basically all the top 2 or 3 players from the West Australian League and the South Australian League. So it's freaking hard to get going, really hard.
Well, for you, it would have been, because you probably hit your straps in the senior footy team around 86, 87. They were in the grand finals back then. That was they were elite at that point.
They were, and those years, so 85, 86, 87, I was injured for half a season each year. So I was always paddling to the game. So I'd miss half a season and try to come back, and by the time I was back, they were firing. So I played really limited games, but 5 each year, and I think I only played 1 in 87. It was the second last round, I think, and played really well and got dropped the week after. So I was a bit flat about that.
And then on to Footscray for
a couple of years. Yeah, a couple of years at the Dogs, which was they were good years. Under Malthouse and then Wheeler, I played a handful of games there too, 14, 15 games there. Good fellas, much different club, nowhere near as arrogant, or they were cash strapped. And the second year was when they nearly merged with Fitzroy, so I went through all that as well. But I had a great time there, still really good months with a lot of those boys.
Gee, that would have been chalk and cheese, what you felt at Carlton.
Absolutely. I remember my first training session at the Bulldogs. We took off to do our warm-up, and I took off like you normally do to do your warm-up, and I turned around after about 100 metres, and the other blokes were like 80 metres behind me. Yeah. And they were going, what are you doing? I go, well, we're warming up, aren't we? And they go, yeah, it's Jets, come back. The Blues were just go flat out. Everything they did was just flat out as hard as you could go, and the Bulldogs were a little bit more, placid in the way they did things. It was good though. Still good.
To play VFL footy in those days and eventually AFL footy. And you found yourself at Sandringham after that. What brought you there?
So from the Doggies I went to Preston. So I spent 6 years at Preston. And then the last year they merged with the Blues, which was probably my worst year of coaching ever. I played him as a coach, and they were railroading us to pick all the Carlton blokes, and half the blokes were as good as Preston blokes. So about after the year I said, that's it, I'm done, I'm not going to coach next year. And I was overseas and didn't do this and didn't do that. And then John Minnie, who was at Sandringham when I was playing there, in 92, 93, he saw me the Wilson Trophy and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm done. I've had enough." You know. He said, "Why don't you apply for our job?" And at that stage, Graham Yates, they won the flag in 2000. They finished third, 1, 2 and 3. And I said to John, "Why would you be second Yates? He's killing it, you know. He's won a flag, he's been top 4 for the last 3 years." And they said, "Oh, well, just need to change things up a bit." So I applied for the job, and because I sort of wasn't thinking I was going to coach, I might have been more relaxed, I suppose. I don't know. Well, I got it, and it came with being the development coach at Melbourne as well. So I was development coach at Melbourne, senior coach at Sandy, and basically had a great, compared to Preston, I had some unbelievable players. Like in my last year, in 2008, our top 10 players played 1,500 games, which is phenomenal. And that's why we won a lot.
So
we had good players.
Players like Sortner and all those guys down there.
Sortner, Liddell.
Yeah,
we had Summers, Lamb from Melbourne, Bigoni from Melbourne, so we recruited those guys afterwards. A kid named Middlecombe was like best defender I've seen for a long time, never beaten. So we had 12 or 10 really good senior players, and we had 12 Melbourne players as well. So that's, we had great success, but we had a pretty good team.
But winning 3 flags at Sandy, obviously you learned everything here.
No doubt. No doubt.
You win the flag in 92 at Sandringham, and then you come down to St Paul's, and you were talking to me the other day. What were you doing? I go, I was a water boy. I was thinking. But what were the times down at the Doggies when you first turned up in 93?
Well, the 4 years here I had wonderful memories of the Doggies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did. A couple of teams here. And there's a heap of blokes in the room that I coached here today. Wonderful players, wonderful blokes. And the one thing I remember about the club is the people. People were fantastic. And super supportive of myself. Although Mercer attest when I first came down here, I was first year coach, I didn't know what he was doing. So I just played as well as I could, and then tried to let everyone else know what we wanted the players to do, and probably, bumbled along a little bit. But the one thing I wanted to try to do when I came here was make the place as professional as we possibly could. So we trained really hard, and the blokes really responded well. And there was great off-field support as well. Bit Peculiar. I was a bit cheeky before Cheeky was here. The regime just before me had been really successful. And so it was sort of like a fresh start, I suppose. And so the players were super keen, trained really hard. We didn't win a flag, but we had pretty good success. We made the finals 3 over 4 years. And I had an absolutely wonderful time playing and coaching. The social side of it was wonderful, but footy-wise it was a fantastic club.
Well, it was a year when they brought the 2 leagues together, which that was a magnificent league. You had Noble Park, you had Bourne, you had East Brighton, the Bentley games. We're going to ask you about that, but with all those characters at St Paul's, we had so many ex-VFA players that were playing here. Had a brilliant premiership in 92 against Collingwood Districts. I've heard they turned up for a fight and a footy game broke out.
Yeah.
But then you turned up and they're playing against the sides of Noble Park and those sort of things. And I was talking to you before, there were a lot of ex-VFA players playing in that league.
So in my second game, so we played Mordialloc in my first game, we got beat. Mordialloc not very good then. Prior to that, so everyone's probably scratching their heads going, "Oh, geez, I'm not sure what's going on here." But our second game against Noble Park got done by 20 goals. 20 goals. And I'd never been beaten by more than in any team I'd played, never been beaten by more than 5 goals. I'm sitting there, Jesus, this is not good. But we fought our way back into the season. We ended up making the finals that year. And then I think the next year we end up, the next year we end up beating Noble Park. And from then on we beat them regularly, And so they had like 10 or 12 Springvale blokes the first year. And we would have had maybe myself, who played a bit of VFL footy, and I don't think we had any other guys. We had a lot of kids. We had like Cruey, and we had Mercer who had played a little bit. We had Abs, who who played some high-level footy. And then we had a whole lot of kids. You know, the Cathcarts were still young fellas, and
You had Gorba?
Gorbs, yeah. He was pretty good. We had Booty, and we had,
You see Gorba at the ceremony, he still talks about his goal against East Brighton when he hit you with the ones. He's still hanging on that.
So we had blokes who had crack. That was the main thing, and so I couldn't have been happier the way the blokes went about it. They trained really hard. Like, it was pretty challenging. I pushed them pretty hard, so we were really fit. But they had a real crack, and like Matty Rojahn today. Matty Rojahn was a gun. He knew he was going to play on each week. But Jimmy O'Callaghan, who was loose, but was a really tough and really good player. Dave McGazzy kicking goals from half-back flank.
Yeah.
Brian getting 1,000 possessions and then running the garbage each week. Stevie Cathcart trying to get Brian's spot all the time. So, we had, we had Footsie's mob. We had all the young kids come through. Richie Cook and Footsie, and there was a couple other coming off the top of my head, some of the boys' names, but
Shay Ryan, is that who you're trying to think of?
40 was a really, really accomplished player in this team and in the league. Shay was, I think, about 42k at that stage. And his feet were like Krusty the Clown shoes, big feet, but quick. So everyone played their part, and we tried to play really well as well as we possibly could. We had some success, but the main thing was they had a real crack. That's all you can ask for as a coach.
I remember Shay's 21st was the night after the day we beat Noble at Noble, which was an area I didn't think.
Is that right? I didn't get invited to that.
But no, brilliant times through that period. And when you left the club, you went into sort of development roles across the AFL. I think you were Richmond and Melbourne.
So when I left here, after Preston, I went to Sandy, which was Melbourne. I was Melbourne Development Manager. I was at IT guys, and then I spent 8 years at Melbourne. So the first 4 was Sandy coach, and the next 4 was assistant coach. And then when Bales got chopped, and we all got chopped as well. And then I went to Richmond for 5 years. So I was forward line coach for a couple of years, then I was midfield coach for a year, then I was offensive coordinator, it was called. So I was the team offence coach. So I was very, very fortunate to be involved in I was full-time coach for 13 years, which very fortunate. All my mates used to tell me about, I've got to go to work, and they go, we're going to watch the footy, you're going to that same thing, So it's not really work. And I go, well, it is. It's a lot of what goes into it. But I was so fortunate to be involved. It was a wonderful time of my life, and it was pretty tough, really busy, but wonderful memories and great development for myself personally. And the other thing was great to see, be involved in some of the development of the players that came through.
Oh, we all followed your career closely because that was such a magnificent era at the Doggies, and seeing you progress on from there. Do we have anyone in the group that's got a couple of questions for Wilbur? Anyone?
What were your thoughts about playing with Mose when all the boys were having
I was going to ask that question.
5 o'clock at
No,
night.
how was the nights at Flaming
Playing
Low?
when the twos players were there and they wanted to know why they didn't get a game.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was
Slaughtered.
There was a few sessions in the hallway down there.
I said, I'm going to the toilet. I said, don't.
There was a few discussions behind some curtains over here as well. But there was never any fisticuffs. Some close calls, I think. But they were exciting times. Good down there.
Adelaide footy trip. What drink was released that weekend?
What drink was released?
Drink?
Oh, it would have been
Your
something.
ability to say the Stolichny vodka.
Oh,
And
I can't remember actually.
and a couple of moments on that trip, the taxi ride back from Glenelg.
Hey, you got a good memory. I'll go with that.
And what did you have a good night's sleep in the corridor one night?
I might have lost my key, I reckon. And then the people wouldn't come up and open the door. So I just slept on the doorstep. I can't remember where I was staying with, and they woke up eventually.
How did you find the rivalry with Bentley back then? That was interesting. And it's still there, but it's a friendly rivalry these days. But back then it was on. It was serious.
Jerky reminded me of the Scotty Gilder incident. That's at Flaming Moses, was it as well? Scotty Gilder was like, he was a good fella and not a bad player. And he was yapping off one night, and I think I threatened to knock his head off. And she said, "You sound like you." I said, "Oh, I've just had enough." From I do remember one. It was a really fierce rivalry, and both sides wanted to kill each other. I remember Con McCarcus. Con McCarcus, yeah, big rugby bloke.
Yeah.
I remember he whacked Andrew Manning behind the plate, going a backhander, and mumbles came off, and he was mumbling, and he always does. But he was like really confused, and then so we started to sort of really panic a bit. So we sat him on the bench, and we sent him to hospital. And they also split a bit, and he had a bit of a stroke. And so that was like a big wake-up call. So I was going to send him back on the ground. He wanted to go back on. Thank God we didn't do that. Anyway, I sort of knew Connor, and I was filthy on him because he just was trying to battle all the good players. You know, he was a thug. He was a good player, but he was a thug. You know, and so I cracked the shits with him. And on the Monday night, we went down to the local bars wherever it is around here. We had a swim. Anyway, I'm in my speedos, like the 80k dripping wet, like skinny as I was. And Con McCarthy was in the pool, and I started having a crack. I was like, that was weak, you're a dog, and get out, like, I'll come outside, and I had a crack at you, and we'll finish this outside. And he sort of looking at me, smiling, going, as if, like, which is probably right. Anyway, he reported me to the league, and I had to go in front of the league. Like, as if how intimidating would I be in speedos? So I just said, like, caught up with him. I said, "Mate, you're a kid, mate." And he goes, "I wasn't happy with what you said." I said, "Well, I wasn't happy with one of our best players." So that's the sort of stuff I remember.
No, we always love the Bentley games, and Eddie Payne reminds them it's Bentley Uniting. It's not the Bentley Footy Club.
Bentley Uniting.
Always will be.
Any questions?
That's important.
All right. Absolutely brilliant to have
Cheers, mate.
the main man, Wilbur, up.